That's a White Sox winner. That's a win for Shane Smith. And that's a column in Fun Bad. The season total was 49.5. That's win number 47. It's only August 25th. Happy 50th birthday to Born to Run. Anyways, it's the White Sox pregame show as I knock over my laptop. Post-game show presented to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Use code CHGO365 when you sign up. That was a pretty rough cold open, and I think something's in the water, because if you go watch the Blackhawks show from earlier today that I was so lucky to produce, Jay Zawoski also biffed the open. So, cold opens aren't our friend today here at CHGO. The White Sox are. That's a White Sox winner. Sox win 7-0. That's their 47th win of the year. They are now 47-83. 83 on the year. Congrats to Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola, by the way, for their launch of their podcast. If we're going to be mentioning 83. On today's show, we'll be talking about Shane Smith. He was fantastic. His longest start of his career. We had some Discord chatter that I have to discuss. We will be talking about the White Sox offense since the All-Star break. Has some very fun numbers that don't even include tonight's 7-0 romp of the Kansas City Royals. And then we'll talk about Colson Montgomery's new nickname, because I think it's bad. I think it's bad. And I think that if it is for the reason we think it is, it could be sentimental, but we could change the sentimental nickname, because I think what they gave him in the dugout is bad. Sarah's saying in the chat, hit that like button. I'm Sean Anderson. Sarah is our producer, and this is the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Yanzera saying we might get 50 wins before September. That's a lot to ask, but it's not off the table. If they do well enough against Kansas City and then take one against New York, or if they're able to take one more against Kansas City and then take two against New York, it's not possible. Hit that like button as well. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. That is the White Sox third win against Kansas City. They are 3-8 against Kansas City, 2-8 against Cleveland, 3-7 against Detroit, and 4-5 against Minnesota. Again, it's not a good season at the end of the day. They have 83 losses. They're still tracking to lose 100 games on the year, but it's all in context, people. 12-28 on the year. Not good against the AL Central. Last year, it was 10-41. So we've already won 2 more games than last year, and there's plenty of games, a whole month of games left against the AL Central for them to get that closer to 500, and it'll still be well under 500. But again, fun, bad team. Let's talk quickly about how you can connect with us here at CHGO. I love working for CHGO. I think it was a fantastic idea. I think that it was very easy to say yes to 3 years ago when the whole idea was pitched to us. Obviously, things have not worked out the way that the Sox show specifically has wanted it to. But one of the ways that we get to connect with you, the fan, is through our Diehard Discord channel. And shout out to Nil Pack, who got to talk his talk today about Shane Smith before today, and he rightfully pissed me off, to be fair, and I think it led to Shane Smith's great outing today. So if you want to become a diehard, and if you have any thoughts on the White Sox, you could talk about it with us in our Diehard Discord channel. Right now, we are having a sale. You could join our base tier. Usually it's $7.99 a year. Now it's $59 for our intro offer. That does include a free t-shirt of your choice. We had 3 new t-shirts drop today as well. And there's also a tailgate tier. at $89.99 for the year. It includes something. Can you reflash that, Sarah? Thank you very much. It includes a free t-shirt like the other sale, but also with 2 Bears tailgate tickets. That's $140 value. So if you are a Bears fan excited about this season, check out those Diehard Discord offers. Also, if you're a Sox fan, you don't have to pick a Bears shirt. We have Sox shirts that you could, check out. We have a great new one that's sort of Batterman-esque, but it's our kind of batter, or I guess it's brawler Sox over here, but it's in the 83 winning ugly version. So, hey, if you are looking to become a diehard, we do have a great offer for you. So scan that QR code if you do want to sign up. Did I read it all? Yes, I think I read it all. And you can also upgrade, apparently, if you are a current diehard. So you can also check that out as well. Head over to allchgo.com/intro. And shout out to Shy Sox Anthony, who joined us yesterday, was on the field with his kids and is now in the chat saying Sox finally kicking some royal ass. Corey Lee, your table is ready. I don't know if he's going to be seated. I think he's a guy that's traded in the offseason, if we're being completely honest, because maybe it makes sense to carry a third catcher if you are going to be putting Teal and Quero at other positions. You did see that moment, I think it was against Minnesota, maybe about a week ago, where Teal got subbed out for Mead. Teal was the DH, and then Quero got one just directly in the grill, and he looked dazed. And you're wondering, it's the 8th inning. Teal's been subbed out. Quero is seeing stars. Who's catching? I don't think Drew Butera, who is retired and the bullpen coach, can legally suit up for the White Sox. Danny Mendick isn't around to be the emergency catcher. Who's catching? So, maybe he sticks around, Corey Lee, but I think he has enough value where you could go sign a third catcher for that specific instance to give a guy possibly a day off, and both guys, Teal and Quero, days off from catching, but strictly to just be a catcher. And that guy should be fairly cheap. But anyways, let's talk about Shane Smith, because that's who's important. We'll talk about Corey Lee later. But Shane Smith was fantastic tonight. 7 innings pitched, 1 hit allowed, 1 walk allowed, another base runner allowed via the error by Chase Meidroth. But with runners on second and third after Mike Yastrzemski thankfully hit a ground rule double. If it was just a normal double, Isbell likely scores and breaks up the scoreless outing from Shane Smith. But in the 3rd inning, after the Meidroth error that allows the first base runner, after the Yastrzemski double that thankfully jumped out of the ballpark, Shane Smith was able to pitch to Bobby Witt, of all people, get a ground out and get out of the 3rd inning. One thing I do want to talk about that I did find just funny, and I'm not trying to pick on him, it's Steve Stone. He's a legend. But, we've seen a lot of Dan Plesac, and I don't know if, Stoney's watching during his off days. And the first thing that I see him say tonight before Shane throws a pitch is he's going through the pitch breakdowns of Shane Smith, and Stone says, "Don't expect too many sinkers," as it said 9% on the year, which is fair. But Steve, if you've been watching, if you've been listening to the CHGO White Sox postgame show, you know that Shane has been upping his sinker percentage all throughout August. In his last 4 starts before tonight, he was above 15% sinker usage in all 4 of those starts. Tonight, you saw 16 sinkers, 20% sinkers from Shane Smith. He was fantastic. One note that was mentioned by Steve Stone was Shane Smith has a 25% whiff rate in the zone over the past 4 games, not including tonight. That's the 3rd highest in Major League Baseball. Had me wondering, where does he sit on the year according to other starting pitchers? He's tied for 13th among starting pitchers, minimum 1,000 pitches on whiff percentage on pitches in the zone. And he is tied on pitch percentage, which is not, the guy that he's tied with has 800 more pitches. So it is more impressive what the guy below him is doing. But he's tied for 13th with Garrett Crochet. And Garrett Crochet last year was hitting career high in innings. And we saw him obviously bounce back phenomenally in 2025, and he's now at 200 strikeouts. If Shane Smith ends the year healthy, we did see a little bit of a slip up there in Pittsburgh. I think next year, Shane Smith could possibly push for 170 strikeouts. I won't go as far as the Crochet 200. He only struck out 3 tonight, but he's got it. That four-seam fastball, when thrown high in the zone, has a ton of arm side carry and has a ton of rise. That changeup, when used, hasn't been used enough to my liking, is one of the better changeups in Major League Baseball. Go try to hit a 92-mile-an-hour changeup that just completely dies off the plate. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but just completely dies away from hitters, and people look fairly foolish. The curveball, while it isn't the best curveball out there, it has been a decent offering that he can get located in the zone. And now the sinker gives him another variant of, somewhat fast, but moving off of his arm side. But you're giving him, basically, if you're looking at the strike zone, the four-seam fastball's up and away. The sinker is usually low and away. And then the changeup's completely out of the zone. And you're guessing on a pitch that's 97, 95, and 92, is this going to be up and away? Is this going to be low and away? Is this going to be out of the zone? And usually by the time you've had that conversation with yourself, you're missing. And Shane Smith has been able to get a ton of whiffs and a ton of misses this year. He has been really something to watch. And just to Nilpak, our guy in the Discord, said he was 3-7 with an above 4 ERA before today. There's a reason why a person like this is in the Rule 5 draft. And, he's not wrong. The reason was Shane Smith has not been able to stay healthy during his career. And when it came down to it, the Brewers decided to keep Chad Patrick, who did make their opening day roster and has given them a ton of innings, over Shane Smith because they thought that Chad Patrick was the safer bet. When you are with Milwaukee, you kind of have to go with the safer bets. Thankfully for Chicago, they got to hit the jackpot, right? I mean, it's like if you go to the 7-Eleven, this is obviously a fake scenario, but if they had a guaranteed, you win $30 on a $25 ticket, it's a $5 profit, right? Or, you get at the jackpot for $25,000. The Brewers took that $5 profit. The White Sox took the possibility at the $25,000 jackpot, and they hit it. It's a starter for next year. You could write him in Sharpie. I think you could likely write Davis Martin in Sharpie. Outside of that, it's probably iffy on Cannon and Sean Burke. I would be surprised if Sean Burke isn't in it, but also Sean Burke wasn't that good in his first AAA start. But Shane Smith being a Rule 5 pick, and them having the pick of the bunch, the pick of the litter, out of all of these players, they identified that he had something. And at that point, he really only was a 2-pitch pitcher. It was the four-seam fastball and slider. And now we've seen him grow into a pitcher with 5 pitches, a somewhat decent, like, horse-ish person, like horse-ish pitcher. I mean, by that, like, going 7 innings, going 6, going 5. He has ran into some issues when the stuff isn't at that upper echelon, but for somebody hitting an innings wall, he's pushed through that wall and has gotten better. I'm going to read this comment completely bind from Thomas. Shane is showing typical young arm tendencies that players who aren't a top prospect show. A slowdown halfway through their full season and has come out through the other side still getting outs. I just disagree with you, Thomas, because yes, he's not like a top prospect, but he had all the makings of a top prospect. This isn't like Tony Soprano. He never had the makings of a varsity athlete. This is a guy that was really good at Wake Forest. He was really good in the minor leagues. He could just never stay healthy. I don't think that he's showing something about his arms specifically. I think it's just more taking on this workload. Your legs get tired. Then you start, overworking other parts of your body. They gave him a 15-day break and he's come back fantastic. I know that he hasn't gotten wins per se, but I thought that he was going to be pretty bad for the rest of the season post All-Star break. I was surprised that he made the All-Star game. And I know you're giving him props. I'm sorry. I was just more trying to say, like, I do think that he is a top prospect. I think it's similar to what Crochet showed last year. Like Crochet showed a little bit of a slowdown in July last year after he made the All-Star game, but he was able to bounce back a little bit in August and September, and I think that's what we're seeing right now from Shane Smith. I just want to say that I do think he's a top prospect. I'm really interested in what Shane Smith's peak can be. We have to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast, presented to you by Bet365. We want to let you know about our friends over at RC Cola. You know when a pizza place is right, it's when they have RC Cola in the fridge behind you. I go to my place, Milano's, over on the south side. What's in the fridge? RC Cola. I go to Salerno's over in the West Loop. What's in the fridge? RC Cola, a true, authentic, real Chicago pizza place will have the real, authentic, original cola. Soda used to have some kick. Now it's all about pretty colors and easy fizz, not with the original cola that doesn't fold under pressure. RC Cola is not a soft drink. It's just damn good cola. RC is an OG cola in a world of spineless soft drinks. There's no trends, no gimmicks, and no glow-ups with this cola, just like your local pizza joint. Milano's is like 50 square feet, and I think that's being generous. RC Cola has not changed its stripes since 1905 because it hasn't had to. It's the same bold, crisp flavor that it's always been. So do yourself a flavor, grab some RC Cola at your local store, stock up for your end of summer parties, back to school celebrations, or if you're just watching the game, RC is the move for whatever you're doing. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Bet365. They're our presenting sponsor, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Sign up with our friends over at Bet365 who are new to Illinois with code CHGO365. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. And if you're a Major League Baseball bettor, it's very fun to take advantage of the early payout offer if your team takes a 5-run lead like the Sox did, and even if they don't even protect it, like they went 5-0 against the Braves last week, and they lost that one 11-10, you still cash a White Sox money line ticket if they take a 5-0 lead. Any team, any Major League Baseball team that takes a 5-0 lead or 5-run lead, you get an instant payout. Download the app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in app only. Welcome back to the CHGO White Sox post-game show. I do have to join I do have to read some comments here. Doveman saying, people keep talking like Chase Meidroth's defense is good. It is not, and he hits into a lot of double plays. Curtis Mead needs more opportunities. I don't know if Meidroth's necessarily blocking Mead per se. Meidroth isn't really playing third base, and that's where Mead's been. Has been third and first. And if we are talking about second base, I mean, it's really Lenine is blocking most people from playing second base. And Chase playing shortstop tonight. Like, he's better at second base. I think it's a Nico Horner situation. Nico's a very, very good defender. So let me slow down there. But I think Nico's a fine shortstop. He's a great second baseman. I think that Chase is a really good second baseman, a good second baseman defensively. You talk about the double plays. That is part of his game. He doesn't hit a lot of balls out of the infield. But you saw today, first inning, they don't score 3 runs if he doesn't beat out that infield single. And then Vargas drives him in, right? I had this written down somewhere. Vargas drives him in, then Sosa drives him in. Chase with the leadoff infield single. No, sorry. Then Quero, who is our headline here, with the 1-out RBI double. Then Sosa with the back-to-back RBI double. And then your boy Mead with the RBI double. 3-0 Sox. If Chase doesn't beat out that infield single, that inning possibly doesn't happen. And then also Chase almost beats out another infield single. So the one thing that I will credit Chase, although there is the infield ground ball issue that you do bring up, and that is fair, I think that his hustle likely probably pulls him out of that Nick Madrigal situation, where I think that he can really make an effort to beat out possible double plays. And I think that if he's not at a shortstop position, the deficiencies of needing that much range will show less. And then Doveman saying Corey Lee is showing power stroke. Can't wait till Will Robertson gets his chance. Yeah, maybe that's once it comes to the 26-man roster expansion. And then finally, Sam Roberts saying, just joining now. You okay, Sean? They holding you somewhere against your will. Sarah, I'm going to blink twice to show everyone that I'm okay. Yeah, no. Oh, I just blinked a lot of times. No, I'm remote today because I think the Cubs are doing West Coast shows. So Sarah is now going to be on a West Coast schedule. So she's going to be doing a lot of remote shows. So it's mainly just helping out the producer. Doveman finally, and I'm going to go into the offense in a second. We're just answering the chat here. On the CHGO White Sox postgame show presented to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Also, if we can figure out having you guys just call in, that'd be a lot more fun. But anyways, Doveman saying any word to let the Sox letting Grant Taylor starting next year. Scott Merkin did put in, I think, a newsletter that Grant Taylor should be expected to start or get the chance to start at spring training. So we'll see. I think, they're in a weird position because he does a lot of times just like throw 9 pitches and is out for a game. I think the last outing that he had, he threw 26. So maybe we're going to see a ramp up in the amount of pitches per outing now that we're close to the end of the year. Maybe we see them push the gas pedal a little bit on maybe Taylor throwing 30 pitches per outing if they are going to be ramping up to that. And then finally, Jacob Ramey saying, man, say what you will, Schriffen is still impossible to listen to. McKnight would make this young core so much exciting. I mean, that's the one thing that I heard from Schriffen defenders was that if you give him a good team, he's going to be really good. I thought Dan Bernstein said very well today on Dan Bernstein Unfiltered that thankfully they've put Quaaludes in Schriffen's diet and he's gone from a 15 to a 9. Part of them I think that he was right today by saying, hey, we're going to start yelling Yahtzee after every Colson Montgomery homer. There's also the cringe John Schriffen moments where, he's growling or like La Pantera and trying to force Southside stand up or, hey, for all the haters out there, like chill, buddy. There's also some big timing that I think he's done to some Chicago media members that I don't think he's really earned. But at the end of the day, I think he's been a little bit more listenable. Maybe in his third year, he'll be even more listenable. And just at least to give him credit, I think he is trying with the fan base. You could say that it's a little glad-handing that he goes to so many of these tailgates, but also he goes to so many tailgates. I mean, you got to give him credit for at least showing up, right? Showing up is half the battle. So he's better this year. I try not to bring him up because last year I think I wasn't too hard on him, but I was definitely unable to not talk about him. I think every single post game show. So we've just been trying to avoid him. Let's talk about what matters. That's the people on the field with the bats. The Sox have been fantastic post All-Star break. They had this on the CHSN broadcast, and it's now changed. The Sox record when scoring first before the All-Star break, 25-26. After the All-Star break, it was 10-4. It's now 11-4. Very, very exciting tonight. The Sox had Vargas go 2 for 4 with 2 doubles. We had Lenine go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Curtis Mead 2 for 4 with an RBI. Corey Lee 2 for 3 with a homer and a walk. And then Brooks Baldwin hits his first right-handed home run. Just on this note, this is from BZ, Bez Behind the Pen, who's been on the show before. All 8 of Baldwin's home runs have come left-handed. He came in, and this was back on the 18th. So this is a little outdated. He came in on the 18th, slugging 417 from the left side compared to 250 on the right side. It's great to see a right-handed home run from Brooks Baldwin today. Nice to see him put a little bit of pop out there. Then going to Lenine. Hey, I could be wrong. I've been very surprised that Lenine was that good at the end of 2023 in September. He's now obviously at 17 home runs. Wasn't able to add on to that total tonight, but 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. He's been a really good power hitter. It's a profile that confuses me. It confounds me, but he is getting it done. So I've been very excited for Lenine. It's been fun to watch. Let's talk quickly about Miguel Vargas, because it hasn't been a pretty season for Miguel Vargas. There's a lot of ups. There's a lot of downs. There's the post April 25th hand adjustment that saw him come to life. But he's come back down to earth really since June-ish. And one thing that stuck out to me is, for right-handed hitters, pretty bad against left-handed pitchers. It's improved a little bit, but before tonight, 250, 305 on base percentage, and a 422 slugging percentage. He's got 16 doubles versus right-handed pitchers, and before tonight, he had 12 doubles against left-handed pitchers. He has 11 homers against righties and 2 against lefties. Thankfully, tonight he's able to add on to those numbers. 2 doubles against lefties, and they're not even like power strokes. They're not even like the ground rule double that Mike Yastrzemski had. They were hustle doubles. That kid ran out of the box, hustled, and forced the Royals to make a play. The first one, he got in there fairly easily on a throw that was on the base. And then the second one, they hustled and threw that ball in so quickly that it was an offline throw, and he was very easily safe. He gets to 30 doubles on the year before the calendar turns to September. Vargas, 1.6 WAR before today, 30 doubles now on the year, nearing an OPS plus of 100, but he is the 20th player since 2015 to have 30 doubles in a White Sox uniform. Andrew Vaughn did it in 2023 and 2024. He had 30 in both of those years. Those are at 152 games and 149. Vargas at 118 games played this year so far. Jose Abreu had 30 in 2021. He had 32 in 2026. He had 34 in 2015. He had 36 in 2018. He had 38 in 2019. He had 40 in 2022. And he had 43 in 2017. Jose Abreu was pretty good, huh? Did he even have... I was just checking, making sure that he didn't have 30 doubles in the COVID year where he won MVP, because that would have just been very choice. Yoan Moncada, 32 doubles in 2018. Yoan Moncada, 34 doubles in 2019. Tim Anderson, I was going to say Tim A7. Tim Anderson's only here once, 32 doubles in 2019. Alice Ramirez is here once, 33 doubles in 2015. Yomer is here, 34 doubles in 2018. Yomer Sanchez playing in 155 games. Why not? I didn't know that was allowed. I guess 159. It's when they play 162. I, for some reason, thought it was 152. My bad. Benny had it in 2023, 34 doubles. Robert in 2023, 36 doubles. That's the year he had 38 homers. And then, of course, you all forgot about him in 2015 and 2016. Melky Cabrera, 36 doubles in 2015, 42 doubles in 2016. I think easily Vargas can be over 35, and only 7 other players have done that since 2015. So, shout out to Vargas. It still might be an iffy year for him, but I think he's worth figuring out. I don't think there's anything, knocking him down. Doveman also bringing up here, I want to go through the highlights, and this is a part of them. The Sox take a 3-0 lead in the first on the Quero double, Sosa RBI double, Mead RBI double. The perfecto for Shane Smith was broken up, and the no-no was broken up in the third. But then thankfully that double that by Yastrzemski got over the wall, and then Smith's able to get out of it and keep the shutout alive. In the fourth, Corey Lee hits a 2-run homer, and then Brooke Baldwin said, that's not enough. Let me go back to back with you. Homers from the 8 and 9 hitters, 6-0 Sox after 4. And then the wonderful catch that Doveman brings up here. Brooks Baldwin, sliding catch in foul territory, sick sliding catch. Too bad we have to play Benintendi. Has to make moves this offseason. Jerry Reinsdorf just needs to back up the truck. When we go back to the agreement with ownership, and the Ishbias are mentioned to be paying off debts for the Chicago White Sox, I think they mentioned minor debts. Does it happen to include $37 million for Andrew Benintendi? Boy, I hope so. But yeah, no, very nice sliding catch by Brooks Baldwin in left field, right up against the wall. Very long run, and he, really gave up his body to hit that wall hard, and it was an impressive catch. Came away fine. And then again, the 2 hustle doubles from Miguel Vargas. Shout out to him. Very exciting game. And then final stats here. We're gonna hit the break, and then we'll talk about the stats. So I got some stats about White Sox post All-Star break. They've been great against the fastball. I'll shout out some specific hitters. 4 have been over a 130 weighted runs created plus. We're going to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show, presented to you by Bet365. Ooh, I threw to a break and didn't have my ads ready, and I don't know who I'm supposed to read. It's Monarch Money. You need a personal CFO in your life. Finances can be messy and confusing. Monarch Money acts like your personal CFO, gives you full visibility and control over your money so you could stop earning and stop foolishly spending and start growing. It's more than your average budgeting app. Monarch Money is a complete financial command center for your accounts, investments, and goals. So don't just manage your money. Start building wealth with 50% off your first year for our listeners. Without a clear financial picture, financial dreams can feel out of reach. Monarch Money makes managing simple, even for busy lives. And with all your accounts, credit cards, and investments in one place, you'll always know where your money stands without the hassle. You can track your spending, savings, and investments effortlessly so you can focus on what matters, making your biggest life goals a reality. Maybe they're lofty like a pool, but hey, you want to save up for a pool, and Monarch Money can help you for that. Monarch Money was named Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025, and you could track and share individual accounts and set goals together with your partner, with your relationship, and keep money check-ins drama-free. So get control over your finances with Monarch Money. Use code CHGO at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code CHGO. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Ownwell. If you own a house in Cook County, you are likely overpaying for your property taxes. It's something far too many Cook County residents are doing, and you don't have to be one of them. Ownwell is changing the game. Ownwell, with their local experts and cutting edge technology, can start saving you money with no upfront costs in Cook County. Appeal windows vary by townships, close up rapidly, and are very difficult to win. Let Ownwell's experts ensure you're prepared for when it counts. Ownwell is extremely easy to sign up for. Again, I was able to sign up in under 3 minutes, or help my mom sign up in under 3 minutes. I don't own a house yet, but she does. And she's always talked about how much she spends on her taxes in Cook County, but we've been able to reduce them, which is a win. In Cook County, Ownwell has a 25% contingent fee, meaning you only pay if your property taxes are reduced. 86% of Ownwell's customers receive a reduction, and Ownwell handles everything from start to finish and delivers top results with an average saving of $1,102. No upfront costs. Savings are guaranteed fee. Only pay if you save. Save money on your Cook County property taxes with Ownwell. Save less. Sign up in less than 3 minutes and start your appeal at ownwell.com/cook. That's OWNWELL.com/cook. Okay, Sarah, are you able to just chime in? You don't even have to turn on your camera. We have to ask you about a quick question because I have to take a drink. We have a new nickname for Colson Montgomery, and feel free to play the video. Brooke Fletcher announces that Colson Montgomery's new nickname, according to the dugout, is Dice Roll. According to Davis Martin, Colson is a big Yahtzee guy. Do you like the Dice Roll celebration, and do you like the nickname Dice Roll?
Here, I'll play this real quick.
So here's Colson running around third and throwing some die.
So I love Yahtzee, big board game fan. I mean, I think it's fine. There's way worse nicknames out there. I mean, you could be like, the only one that I can think of at the top of my head is Assad. His nickname is Assman. That's a bad nickname.
No, well, do you watch Seinfeld?
No.
As you shouldn't. As somebody who's under 30, you shouldn't watch Seinfeld. But if you watch Seinfeld, that's a very, very funny nickname. But yeah, no, I feel like, if he likes Yahtzee, just call him Yahtzee. I feel like Yahtzee is a better nickname than Dice Roll.
I kind of like Dice Roll.
All right, we got a thumbs up on Dice Roll. Let us know in the chat if you like Dice Roll. And honestly, Sarah, as you on your way out, why don't you just play the Colson Dice Roll video one more time for the people? Let us know what you think of Dice Roll.
He looks great.
Yeah, he looks great. No, he does. And the other thing too, just behind it, I thought it was a weird celebration. And one thing that I did find out was he started doing that on Saturday after his grand slam. That was the year anniversary of his grandfather's passing. So I wonder if that was like a family game, right? A lot of people took
I
it to
played it
different
as
places.
family.
Yeah,
That
you
was
took it
like
as a
a childhood game.
this is a family show, right? I used to play it
Yeah,
with my
this is
father.
a family show.
But I just thought though, hey, at CHGO we had one time where somebody accidentally ratted a major league shortstop for being at a Chicago casino, and I didn't know if hey, after Colson hits a homer on Friday, if they took him to the Bally's downtown, maybe he was hot at the craps table. But no, it does seem to be family slash grandpa related. So we got Colson Dice Roll Montgomery. We also have Colson the Big Smooth Montgomery. Dice Roll or the Big Smooth? Final question.
Dice roll.
All right, so we got Dice Roll. Let us know what you think in the chat of Dice Roll. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already, and make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Shy Sox Anthony says, Sox have been beating up the AL Central recently. Keep it going. Yeah, if you look at the past 4 games, they're 3-1. So there you go. Let's go. Jacob Ramey saying Yahtzee is an absolute blast. I think he's talking about the board game there. Sam Roberts says Yahtzee is greater than Dice Roll. Then we also have Jacob saying no. Then we have Sam saying Yahtzee over craps, and then Jacob Ramey saying the guy with dice in his pocket. So I don't even know what we're talking about. Let's get back on track. What is this offense? That was something that somebody said in our Discord, and let me give them a proper shout out as well. Fresco Elmo said, "What is this offense?" At 7:59 in our Diehard Discord that you can join with that QR code there. They have been 5th in weighted runs created plus since the All-Star break, not including their 7-1 win tonight. And they've been fantastic versus the fastball. And that has been a key that Chris Getz has brought up and Will Venable has brought up. And the All-Star break was a month ago. This is like legitimate, real things that they're doing. Against the fastball, they have the 6th lowest whiff percentage. They have the 3rd highest slugging percentage. They have the 4th highest batting average and the 4th highest expected weighted on base average. And that is against 4-seam fastballs, that's against cutters, and that's against sinkers. They have done a fantastic job against fastballs. And they're not only just talking about it too, they're actually doing it. They said, hey, we have a goal. We're going to, beat up fastballs. They beat up fastballs. They brought Ryan Fuller to bring in and change swings. And we've seen a swing change from Miguel Vargas. We've seen a swing change from Colson Montgomery. We've seen swing changes, I guess, from Andrew Benintendi, or at least swing tendencies. We've seen adjustments from Lenyn Sosa. The White Sox have really done a good job of saying, hey, we're going to do something and doing it. That's been really fun. So I think that's just something that they deserve credit for, because as Sox fans, even though we did have 2021 and 2020, it just felt like they were getting by on talent and not really by going out and doing it. And they have been going out and doing it. I was looking for my notes of players since the All-Star break, and it was in a tab. So there you go. Let's get into the breakdown player by player since the All-Star break. The weighted runs created plus leader on the Sox since the All-Star break, Kyle Teel, 145 weighted runs created plus. Luis Robert, 135. Miguel Vargas, 133. That will go up after his 2-double night. And Edgar Quero at 132, not far behind Colson Montgomery at 127, Lenyn Sosa at 120, and Brooks Baldwin at 120. And hey, Mike Tauchman's at 119 as well. Chase Meidroth at 105. They have 9 hitters that are above average since the All-Star break. What? When was the last time you can look at the White Sox 1 through 9 and say they have 9 above average hitters? That's awesome. I didn't even know that. I didn't even realize that. I was just going to go and talk about the top 4. They have over really 30 games. They have 9 above average hitters. And it's felt like that. They've been fun to watch. Again, post All-Star break, when they take a lead, they're 11-4. That's really cool. All right. Edgar Quero, though, RBI double, in the first inning. He has been one of the best hitters against left-handed pitching this year. 3rd, I believe, in batting average. I think he's 13th in weighted runs created plus. He has 14 RBIs now against left-handed pitching. And this even just shows it off too. A 321 average since the All-Star break. And the real one thing that shines about his game is his flat bat path. It shows off on the StatCast attack approach angle. He has a very, very flat bat path. And what it allows him to do is avoid swinging and miss. And he can just keep an at bat alive. And what you really see is his ability on a pitch outside to just hit it to the outside. I mean, how many RBI hits does Edgar Quero have to the opposite field? And right through that shortstop third base gap, or right through from the other side, that second base, first base gap. I mean, that is a professional hitter that is like, hey, I know where we're going. Dead red, heater, boom, pop it into the right field. That's an RBI. Let's go, Edgar Quero, light it up. It's been cool. Jacob's talking about the next year a team could win 70 plus. Hopefully that is what happens. The one thing I do just want to avoid, and I know it's a little bit silly, but if they're even going to lose 100 games, and this isn't even in control of them, they just need to get that number one pick, because they have one shot to get that number one pick. I just simmed Tankathon right now, even with the 48th win. I guess I said 47th. This says 48th win, so they're now 2 games away from beating their preseason win total projection. But Tankathon, thankfully, has them getting the number one pick. That's really what's important about this, is trying to get Chris Getz as much ammo as possible to help this team. And not only does the number one pick secure the best player in the draft, hypothetically, it gives you the largest bonus pool to go out and get the most talent, hopefully possible, in the 2026 draft, because hopefully this team is never picking in the top 10 in the next 3 years. Hopefully we're not talking about winning a lottery and having to luck out for our franchise's sake. Hopefully they can build ball players, which, it's been up and down this year, but it's been really fun to watch this team all-star break. It's Teal, it's Vargas, it's Robert, it's Quero, it's Montgomery, it's Sosa, it's Baldwin, it's Tauchman, it's Meidroth. I mean, they sat Teal, Montgomery, Tauchman, and Benintendi tonight. They had no problem. They won 7-0. Hey, benching Benintendi is a good thing. The guy that has the worst weighted runs created plus since the All-Star break, Andrew Benintendi, with a 74 weighted runs created plus. Man, that kid couldn't help out a team that had high expectations in 2023 and can't even help out a team that had low expectations in 2025. So, man, God, is that a player I just despise. We have about 3 minutes here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. I haven't seen any more thumbs up or thumbs down for Colson Montgomery's nickname specifically. I like Yahtzee better. Dice roll's fine. We'll figure that out. Shane Smith has been fantastic. I think the one stat that I didn't share, 22 batters faced a first pitch strike. He faced 24 batters. 22 of them faced a first pitch strike. That is legit right there. Just going up and just facing and just challenging every single hitter. We talked about Vargas. Vargas is improving a little bit against left-handed hitters. Quero, the one thing that does stick out, and I think Tyler Region Rat brought it up on X. Really great against left-handed pitchers. 381 batting average against lefties now, 410 plus on base percentage, around a 490 slugging percentage. The right-handed side hasn't been that great to him. 234 batting average, 314 on base percentage, and a 322 slug. He does have 3 homers from the right-handed side, and only 1 homer against lefties. He has 3 homers against the left-handed side, only 1 homer on the right-handed side. But obviously, the near 400 average sticks out on the right-handed side. So just a shout out to Quero, but maybe that is something that we'll have to follow. He's 22 now, so I'm fine with him doing a switch hitting thing. But maybe as he progresses, a year from now, 2 years from now, he gives up switch hitting altogether. Finally, this is from Will Harris over on Blue Sky. Most homers through 42 career games in White Sox history. Jose Abreu with 15, Zeke Benura with 14 in 1934. Abreu had 15 in 2014, and Colson Montgomery with 13 in 2025. Robert had 11 in 2020, and Carlos May had 10 in 1968. So he is in a very, very good category with Jose Abreu and Zeke Benura. Anyways, that's going to do it. I'll answer some chat questions before we wrap it up here. Jacob Ramey saying, who is the projected first pick? That is Rock Chalowski, the shortstop from UCLA. We'll see how things change if he has a bad season, possibly like a Jace Laviolette. Maybe he slides down, but it's very, very high. He's a very, very highly thought of player, is Roch, R-O-C-H, Cholowski. And I will not spell that. I think it's Cholowsky. So there you go. JTH78 said Sox get the number 1 pick and a great college bat is available. That is the best case scenario. Yes, it could be a college bat like Roch Cholowski. So there we go. Evan Eric saying our relief pitcher did a fantastic job holding down the lead after Shane, hoping they can keep it up. Yes, Eric, but also, I mean, it was a 7-run lead and they had 2 innings to do it. I mean, they could have gave up 6 runs in those 2 innings. Could have been a disaster, and they still could have won. I mean, Shane did one hell of a job in those 7 innings, and the offense did a great job of giving him support, him finally getting his first win. I think, again, shout out to Neil Pack, our guy in the Diehard Discord, saying he got his first win since like mid-June. So it's been a long time for Shane Smith. He now improves to 4-7 on the year, but pitching records and pitching wins don't matter. Felix Hernandez once won a Cy Young with a negative win-loss record, and Paul Skeens will likely do it again this year. That's going to do it for the CHGO White Sox podcast post-game show. Sox win 7-0. They get their 48th win of the year. I'm Sean Anderson. Thank you so much to Sarah for producing the show. We will let you know more about the Chicago White Sox as the season progresses. That means I don't know when the next show is. The next show that we have is on Thursday, Wednesday. My computer won't load. Very cool. Our next show is on Thursday. We have a post-game show then. I'll see you then. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.